Many of you know that I recently came back from a trip from Maui, and while I had a great time there, Maui's not doing so great right now. The island has just experienced some devastating wildfires that, as of this recording, the death toll is at 96 with many more missing. My heart goes out to everyone affected, and knowing that it will take time to recover to any sense of normalcy, I'm helping by donating, and you can too, to the Act Blue emergency fundraiser for the Maui fires. The link is down below. Thank you. Welcome back to Hobbies with Jose, everyone. Great to have you back. Today we are looking at a long-awaited figure, Transformer Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy Decepticon Shockwave. And boy, do we have some stuff to discuss. But as always, let's first check out the box. Oh man, do I miss big-ass windows on boxes. You get such a gorgeous full view of the character inside. And you don't even have to worry about the noggin missing too. Looking at the box without the figure though, I'm now noticing this logo in the back. At first glance, I thought it was some kind of a light bulb, but there's actually a small clear picture of it in the front and top of the name. There are these clear-looking gears inside with what looks like stars orbiting around the sides. And I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Does anybody know? Because I ain't watching the show again. Hell no. But on the side we get a gorgeous piece of artwork of Shockwave in his full body. Such a great pose that he's in too, with his menacingly glowing eye. And wait a minute, what the hell is that? Oh god, whose arm is that? Could it be Hound's? Whoever it belonged to, it met a terrible demise. I mean, I could see why Shockwave would go around ripping people's arms. He is biased. And of course on the back we get some nice renditions of Shockwave in his various modes. And the extra baggage that he's sporting. One can only assume he came with all this extra plastic to be able to go toe-to-toe with Ultra Magnus. I guess Hasbro wanted to offer a Decepticon of the same size scale, but it's so unnecessary. But more on that later. But here's Shockwave. And I gotta say, he just makes such a strong first impression. The proportions of the bot mode are just so good and spot on, with just about zero cable around him whatsoever. Yeah, he's got a big camping backpack behind him, but that's pretty typical for Shockwave. Now there are just a few small hollow sections on the legs, which is always going to be unfortunate, especially since there's no molded details inside too. I guess they hadn't come up with that gimmick of trying to hide it a little bit. Thankfully though, the arms do not suffer from that. Now the main color for Shockwave is a bit striking. Not sure if this picks up well on camera, but on the back of the box, he has a very nice purple hue to him. But the figure itself is quite a bit darker, almost even the borderline royal blue color. I'm not sure why this decision was made, but I much prefer the look on the box. That I think is something we'll be fixing in the near future. One of the hallmarks of the Siege line is when you get up close to these figures, is just how much more details you start to notice with all the extra panel lining and molded designs. To me, it's very reminiscent of classic Star Wars, where certain ships and structures always seem to be just littered with little details. And I think that look suits Cybertronian Transformers very well. Makes it easy to admire the beauty of this character. I think one of the minor drawbacks of that though is that the Decepticon symbols on the arm kind of get lost a little bit in all that detail. But they are expertly applied and they look great in the proper lighting. Speaking of lighting, of course this famous mono-eyed baddie's gonna have light piping. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, I think it would be a shame if it didn't have it. And thankfully it has been expertly achieved with this figure. Sometimes we would see the entirety of the back of the cranium to be just clear plastic, kind of ruining the overall look of the head. But here all we have is a tiny little square on top that does a perfect job of pumping light into that cybernetic eyeball. If only we could improve it, right? Foreshadowing. But not only does Shockwave have great proportions and fantastic detailing, the articulation's not half bad too. Starting off with the shoulders, there's a full 360. They can fold out 90 degrees, and thanks to a secondary joint inside the chest that can keep folding up past a 180 point. But that's mostly for transformation. There is a bicep swivel, just over 90 at the elbows, and hooray, wrist swivel. There is a full waist rotation. Legs can do full 90 degrees to the side, ratcheted joint for 90 degrees forward, and almost 90 degrees back. Full thigh rotation, 90 at the knees, and a slight tilt at the feet, with sadly no up or down movement. And lastly, the head can do a full 360. Tilting the head up is almost fully blocked, but there's also some good side-to-side movement. So this articulation provided is more than enough to pull off some amazing poses. Yeah, I do wish we had a little bit more tilt on the feet, but for what's there, I am definitely satisfied. But what about his alt mode? Well, before we even start talking about that, we've got to discuss his amazing accessories! He comes with a pair of stylish platform shoes, all business shoulder pads, and a cover for his backpack? Typical Shockwave! And when you put them all together, you get Shockwave that's ready for a night out on the town. But seriously, what the f is this? So all of these extra bits are what Shockwave needlessly comes included with. Again, just for the sole purpose of, I think, to be matched up against Ultra Magnus. This monstrosity is unnecessary, and yeah, I wish it would have come without it. Now, I do have a theory, however, and I think that allowing Shockwave to be in this larger size class with these accessories allowed the designers to have a bigger budget to give us a better figure. I suspect there would have been a lot more hollowness otherwise. And it also allowed for a more complete thought of a Cybertronian alt mode, which let's go ahead and check out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this arguably looks pretty badass. Now that it's in its space battleship mode, it reminds me like something out of Star Wars even more with all that surface detailing. Or maybe even something out of Mobile Suit Gundam, with that center tower in the middle and the gray fins sticking out. And with the light piping still in effect here, yeah, this ship can seriously do some damage. Now of course it's not hard to see where the robot mode parts are, they're just right there in plain sight. But the extra add-on pieces do enough to give us a convincing battleship mode. But of course, many folks online did see that you can kind of get away with an actual G1 laser gun mode. Let's take a look at that one. So yeah, you essentially just take off all of the extras, realign the cable, and you are left with a quasi G1 gun mode. Now obviously the designers knew exactly what they were doing, and I'm glad you can achieve this look too. Now of course this handle is nowhere near big enough for my large masculine hands, which is where third-party accessories come in. Now this does resemble a bit more like G1 Shockwave's alt mode. While this new third-party gun handle is much more beefier, it is unfortunately lacking some molded details on the sides, so it's not quite a perfect match with the overall look. And although there's a very nice clear viewfinder included, I do kind of wish it was molded in a clear purple. But although they're not perfect, these accessories add a lot to the overall look, and I'm definitely glad I picked them up. So if by any stroke of luck you are able to pick this up for a decent price, I cannot recommend them enough. Yeah, even though half the plastic that comes included I couldn't care for, the figure itself is that good. So, there you have my review of Siege Shockwave, a fantastic figure, expertly executed, and a fantastic addition to anyone's collection. Once again, lives up to the name, mini masterpiece, right? And I hope you'll join me when we'll give him a fresh coat of paint and try to improve upon him a little bit if we can. I do have some ideas. But hey, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. Feel free to catch me on all the social medias. Links are down below. And of course, check me out on Twitch. Oh, you should be the mascot of that. We just finished Yakuza Kiwami, and I'm about to start a new game real soon, too. But if you can't catch me live, you can watch the VODs on my second YouTube channel, Hobbies with Jose Gaming. Plus, check out the merch store, too. Some great stuff there. But of course, if you like what you saw, you know what to do, right? I will see you all real soon. Take care, everyone.